Happy lunch hour, guys. Well, it's still Wednesday. Don't you love it when there's three videos and I've got three different shirts on in each one of them? It's what happens when it's hot and humid outside and you're working. It's like, okay, crap, I need to go take another shower. Well, I'm going to give you this. There is hope, people, that the world doesn't collapse, that we don't wind up becoming communist China, and that the American way of life may eventually just be experiencing a speed bump and not a total collapse. I'm not talking about economically or anything like that. That's going to be a big hole to dig your way out of. But at least for some of our way of life. And I can't say everything, but while we were sleeping last night, a very curious thing happened. Now, as many of you know, last night there were primaries in 5 states. Okay. It's kind of interesting how those came out. Okay. Now, I'm not saying yay or nay about Trump running in 2024. But what I will say is the public is starting to realize that he was right and they're falling in line. Why do I say that? His Make America Great Again policies were correct, right? Nationalism, pride in the United States, not Michelle Obama for the first time in my life. My dickhead husband, made me proud of this country. You're useless as a human being anywhere they're Mike. So, yeah, okay. You can go back to Kenya. But, so interesting in the primaries last night how things happened. You look at Michigan, okay? Yeah, there was a interesting defeat yesterday. Peter Meyer, who is one of the Republican representatives currently in Congress, 3rd District, which is around Grand Rapids, he was one of the 10 Republicans that voted to impeach Trump. Michigan said, adios, asshole. Okay, he lost his primary. He's done. His political career is over. Okay, he falls in line with, I don't know, the Adam Kinzingers, Liz Cheney. She's Senate, but but those. Okay. Then you look at Arizona. Okay, Carrie Lake, Trump's endorsement for governor. Yep, guess what? She won. I won't say handily, but she won. Okay. Another good one. In Arizona again, if we go to this, and I got to find it because I got way too many screens open. But you also had Blake Masters win. Okay, so Blake Masters, again, a Trump-backed candidate, will be running up against Mark Kelly, Gabby Gifford's husband, the one who is, another screaming liberal. Okay, yeah. Congratulations, you're an astronaut. You should have stayed in space because obviously you left your brain there because it's now filled with emptiness. But you get into interesting ones here. And the most interesting one last night was in Arizona for Secretary of State. Okay, Mark Fincham won in the primary to run for Secretary of State. He was the one that had a lot of questions about 19 months ago. Let's do the math, you figure out what I'm talking about. All right. Secretary of State is the one who handles each independent state's Secretary of State is the one that handles elections. All right. So why would this be an issue? Well, let's take a look at last night's Arizona election. Now remember, the left was all sorts of thrilled because, oh my God, Biden won Arizona. Mark Fincham's comments 19 months ago, thereabouts. This is from yesterday. Okay, and this is the RNC and the Republican Party of Arizona releasing this statement. During Arizona's primary elections, the RNC and Republican Party of Arizona's Poll Observer program documented and reported multiple failures by Pinal County's election administrator, including 63,000 mail-in ballots delivered to the wrong voters and multiple Republican heavy precinct locations running out of ballots. Okay. Now, does that surprise anybody? Yeah, not really. Okay, go through. So then let's get to the other side. Okay, let's talk about the Democrats. Now, you kind of get the fun one here. Chris Murphy, okay, the other brainchild in Connecticut. Connecticut rivals New York for stupid. Basically the same state anyway. Okay, come on, when you've got Richard Blumenthal, I'm a Vietnam veteran. Right. And Chris Murphy came out yesterday and said this. I should do a piece every week on the stupidest things said in public. Chris Murphy'd win this week. Quote, if you look at our ability to try to keep up with the rise of China, there is no way to do that unless you continue to bring to America the smartest, best, hardworking people from all around the world. Basically saying we need immigrants because, the easiest way to beat China is by picking more strawberries, more maids. That's what we need. Okay. Yeah, right. Okay. So then you get the continuation on all of this. Biden running for re-election in 2024. And you've probably seen there are quite a few Democrats who are not exactly thrilled. And I'm not talking about the public. I'm talking about sitting Congress people. Okay. Jerry Nadler, roly-poly himself, the guy that looks like you'd, paint him brown and he'd fit in a Oompa Loompa costume. Yeah, he's not willing to say he wants Biden to run again. Joe Manchin? Nah, doesn't surprise me. Carolyn Maloney? No. But the classic that you guys have got to love this week. The DNC is starting to float the trial balloon here with some of their talking heads on TV, saying that AOC is a top potential candidate to run in 2024. Okay. Oh, well, she's got great personality and a great social media presence, and her ability to fundraise is phenomenal. Her ability to think is completely questionable. So yeah, let's make her the leader of the free world. That would be it. Now, I'm not saying Trump should or should not run. I'm just saying it seems to be the two top candidates in the RNC right now would be Trump and Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis, I'd say you could call him a MAGA Republican. The establishment leader, Mike Pence, who polls at 1%. Okay. Yeah, all right. I think the primaries are starting to tell the story that the American public, at least the conservative side, wants to go back to MAGA policies. Good, I do too. All right. But with the stuff that's going on in Arizona, and you've heard other stories about what's going on in Pennsylvania, what's going on in Michigan, et cetera, with all these questionable activities. I'm trying to watch my words here. We need voter reform. We need election reform. I have no doubt about it. However, the election reform that we need is very simple. Election day is the first Tuesday in November. Period. Not election week, not election month. You show up at the polls. Absentee ballots? Yes. If you are military or if you are incapacitated to the point where it is physically impossible for you to go to the polls, i.e., you live in a nursing home or something like that, you're on machinery, you can't be moved. Yes, I will give you those for absentee ballots. I'm too lazy to go to the poll. I don't want to stand in line. No. Mail-in ballots? No. Election day is the first Tuesday in November. It should be also, and this one I'll agree with what Democrats say. Like I've told you before, if they have a good idea, I will agree with it. Like a lot of other countries, as usual, screwing that one up, Election day should be a federal holiday. Okay? If we can have the day off for Juneteenth, we certainly should be able to have federal election days off. Then nobody has any excuse not to go to the polls, unless you're lazy. And if you're lazy, I'm sorry, tough. You don't want to stand in line. Don't tell me it's too freaking hot. It's November. But kill the mail-in ballots, kill election month, make it a holiday. You show up in person unless you are physically unable to. You're in the military and stationed in Korea. I'll give you that one, okay? You can't make it. Like I said, you're on an iron lung somewhere. I'll give you that one, okay? You're too lazy to get your fat ass off the couch eating your bonbons and playing your video games. Tough. Don't vote. We have, and I know a lot of people are going to say, you can't vote yourself out of this. This isn't going to be solved in an election. You got to start somewhere, guys. I'd rather see this solved in an election than solved in a war. There is hope if we can get rid of a lot of these leftist assholes and the RINOs, which it seems like they're falling by the wayside as well. Hopefully, with a little luck, we get a bunch of conservatives, constitutionalists, and libertarians running Congress 6 months from now. Then we can work on Potato Joe and the Cackling Hen and bid them a fair adieu in 2 years. Enjoy the rest of the day. Pinball out.